Hey, so today we're going to talk about something that some of you have been dreading, and that is blogging. How many of you out there know that you need to be blogging and just can't seem to do it yet? You know it's important, but it takes a lot of time and energy and effort, and there's some vulnerability with writing your thoughts and putting them out there for people to judge and have an opinion about. Well, if you're ready to make that leap, if you've decided, yes, I'm going to start blogging, or maybe you already have been blogging and are wondering, am I really doing everything I need to do to make these blogs helpful? Then today's for you. Okay? So what we're going to talk about today is if you are going to put forth the time and energy it takes to write a blog, how do you get the best return on investment? How do you make sure that that blog post is actually going to help you rank on Google? Because that's one of the big reasons that we write blogs, right? So, that said, let's talk first about how to choose topics to write about. This is important. And so when I started, I had this rule that anytime the same thing came up, I found myself doing the same piece of psychoeducation twice in 1 week, it was time to write a blog post on it. And that was great. I got started with a lot of really helpful blog posts that I'm able to point my clients to now. However, those weren't always the topics that I really wanted to rank for. For instance, one of them was sleep hygiene. That's great to rank for, but I would rather rank for a few other long tail keywords, right? So we're going to talk about 4 quick ways to help you choose your titles. Technique 1. Sorry, I had a moment. Technique number 1 for choosing a title for a blog post or a topic for a blog post is to look at your keywords. So if you have a list of 50 keywords that you would like your website to rank for, and of those 50 you notice that you just can't rank for one of them, you've optimized your couples counseling service page, but you're not ranking yet for couples counseling in your area. Perfect time to write a blog post and write a blog post that has a title or a topic specifically related to that. So if couples counseling in Indiana is the keyword that you're not ranking for, then maybe you write a blog post titled "What to Look for in a Couples Counselor in Indiana." Right? See, that long tail keyword "couples counselor in Indiana" is right there in the title. So that can be a really good way to choose one, is to look at the keywords. As an example, a while back, I don't know if Google changed their algorithm or what, but suddenly I wasn't ranking for help after sexual assault, something that I really wanted to rank for. And so I asked actually the SEO expert at my website developers, like, what can I do? Like, I've tried everything. And she had the best suggestion for me. She said, try writing a blog post titled, "Help, I was sexually assaulted at a frat party." And that is super specific, but it had all my keywords in it, right? I mean, she just took my keywords that I had given her a list of and turned them into a blog post. So I wrote a blog post. I did a few other things too to try to improve my keywords, but that was, or my ranking on those keywords, but that was one very good suggestion she had. So think about your keywords, think about how to turn those into a blog post. Option number 2, I kind of already referenced a little bit, but be specific. Don't be afraid to be specific. Blog posts are a place to narrow down your audience. Every blog post you write is not going to be for every potential client, but the more specific you are, the better use of long tail keywords you can make. So remember I mentioned that I had written one called like "Help, I was sexually assaulted at a frat party." Not every client I see is a college student that was assaulted at a fraternity party. In fact, not even all of my college students that were assaulted did it happen at a fraternity party. So why am I writing one that specific? To get the people that were, to get ranking when they search for that particular long tail keyword. So really, people don't assume that because you have a blog post on something really specific that that's all your counseling clinic does, but they assume that you know something about that specific topic. So be specific, niche down for these blog posts, really get in there and try to help at least a few people and get some great long tail keywords in there. 3, consider writing a series. If there is one topic that you really want to rank for, that you're really struggling to rank for, then consider writing a series on. I've done this a few times. In November, I know people tend to be paying a lot of attention to gratitude and thankfulness, right? So I did a whole series, actually 2 years in a row, I've done 2 different series on gratitude as a mental health skill, and talked about, some of the gratitude research and some of the ways to practice gratitude and that sort of thing. But it's come out in a series. Series help your SEO a few different ways. People come back to see the next piece of the series, but it also gives you lots of opportunities to use really similar keywords and help you really rank for those keywords that you're struggling with. 4, bounce ideas off other people. If you're one of my clients, consulting clients for this, for Simplified SEO Consulting, get on our Facebook page, put it out there. Hey guys, I'm trying to rank for this keyword. What blog topic would you recommend? And you're probably going to get a response. I'll hop on there and try to respond and give you some suggestions for potential titles or blog topics. If you're not part of our group yet, you can always bounce ideas off your friends, off your spouse, or even in other Facebook groups. But just get a little bit of feedback. Sometimes somebody else that's less close to it can hear your keywords and go, oh, well, why not write a blog topic on this? So that can be a great resource. So next up, you've chosen a topic to write a blog post on. You've written some text. How do you make sure that it's actually going to help your SEO? Let's talk about that. 3 tips. First, I want you to write at least 500 words. I really kind of like to write at least 700. The longer the blog post is, the more text that's in there, the more information Google is going to have about what to rank that page for. So try to write minimum of 500 words in your blog post. Kudos if you can write more than that. 2, use links. Remember we talked about internal and external linkings? Blogging is the perfect place to use links. I always make sure that my blog post links to other pages on my website. It might link to a service page. So if I'm talking about depression, at some point I might mention counseling for depression, highlight that and link that back to a depression service page. Or I might mention a skilled mental health therapist and highlight that and link those words back to the page where I introduce all my therapists. Or my favorite is the bio at the end, the about the author. A lot of people don't read that, but the few that do are more likely to click on those internal links. And so I have good anchor text. A thing that it says a lot of times is my practice helps people find healing from trauma. Highlight and link to my trauma page. Comma, grief. Highlight and link to my grief page. Anxiety, comma, and link back to that page, etc. So it really, I just try to, use that space well to have some links. And then sometimes we do relevant external links too. So especially if I'm if you're writing a blog post about a couples counseling technique or a communication issue, you might say the Gottman Institute recommends, and then copy the Gottman or highlight the Gottman Institute and link back to their page. It's a good way to get some external links in there. And then last, my third recommendation for optimizing your blog post is to include pictures with alt text. We'll talk a little bit more about alt text tomorrow, but you're going to include pictures for 2 reasons. It's going to help your SEO, and people like pictures, and so it can kind of give the eyes a break on the page. So definitely include pictures. I like to go for about 2 pictures per blog post with really good relevant alt text, putting those keywords in that alt text, which we'll talk more about tomorrow. Writing a blog does take time. It does take mental energy. It does take effort. It does require knowing your audience a little bit, but it's worth it. It's a great return on investment as far as SEO goes. It is worth your time, and if you use some of these techniques that I talked about, you'll be writing relevant blog posts that will do the most possible to help you rank better in search engine results. So good luck. Thank you. I look forward to seeing your blog posts as you get them written.